What a special edition of the Honest Truth Sports Podcast. We are here at DHS covering the senior night. I got a brother that's in senior night right here.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's
go. Nathan, I got a quick question for you. What do you think you're going to end up tonight with? Yeah, what are you going to end up tonight with?
5 minimum. 5 minimum.
5 minimum?
Yeah, get out.
All right.
Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the Honest Truth Sports Podcast. On today's episode, you will find that we will be talking about the Super Bowl 57, recapping everything that went on in that game, a little controversy, a little bit of field talk, conditions and whatnot. We will also kind of give just our own opinions on how the NFL should probably go and continue throughout, the next years probably. And you won't want to miss this episode of the Honest Truth Sports Podcast, as I am your host, Mike Pinarski. Later on, I will be joined by my two other co-hosts, Nathan and Steven, and we will get this thing rocking as they get on here shortly. Another thing, this is the podcast where you can find nothing but the truth, as that is what we are called. You come here for the truth and only the truth. We are the Honest Truth Sports Podcast, where we put realism into journalism.
What did it say you're recording right away?
Because I made sure I already put it on recording.
Yep. Come on, Nate. Who cares about The Bachelor?
All right, is everything working?
Yes, for recording this time, but your video is not working still.
Yeah.
My video still isn't working?
No.
That's crazy.
You have it blocked? Like,
no.
Unblock your camera.
It's not.
Like, you have a swipe thing?
Maybe it's because I'm using it on like a tab instead of like using the actual app on my computer.
Okay, so use your actual app.
All right, I'm gonna do that then.
Came here. So we're getting right into it. Right off the bat, we had Super Bowl 57 over this past weekend. All I want to say to start off is it was it felt very it was promised to be a good historic game, and then it felt at the very end like we were robbed. And we will start at the very beginning with a very heartfelt rendition, however you want to say it, rendition of a serenade for a national anthem. There we go. With Chris Stapleton singing and making Nick Sirianni cry to start off the Super Bowl, which kind of sets the tone. Only real men cry tears, and real men were playing this football game with all their hearts on the line because it was the last game of the year, and that's the kind of emotion you want to shed on that field.
It looked like somebody
right
shot his dog or something. Like he was crying, like full, like both his eyes were wet from his tears just streaming down his face. Like it was unbelievable how emotional he just got. Like we're not even solid. It hasn't even kicked off yet. He's completely bawling his eyes out.
Hey man, Nick Sirianni is a highly emotional dude, man. He leaves that all out there, man. You see him? He's all pumped up.
It's like the game from when he came back to beat the Colts. He was like on the bench, like basically trash talking to the Indianapolis Colts fans, like, I own you guys. Like, what just happened? Like, bro, you came back and beat
Phillies guy
the worst team. Yeah,
he's a Philly guy.
Must be. He was something else.
Yeah, so like you had that start off the game, and then you get the Eagles starting off with the ball to start the game, and their first drive, I really thought it wasn't going to go anywhere. They had I think they were 3rd and long a couple times. It kind of looked like they were
Mhm.
going to be stopped and forced to punt the ball, but they just found ways to move the ball down the field very efficiently, and it looked like they were going to be a force to be reckoned with, and they scored very easily. Comes to no surprise that it was a Jalen Hurts touchdown, because when you're on the 1-inch yard line, you kind of just go to your quarterback that squats 600 pounds and push him in there.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, the Eagles were just rolling through the Chiefs defense the whole game. It looked like they put together a good game plan. Obviously, all season long, they've been like driving down the field, taking as much taking as much time off the clock, being able to like make sure, especially against the Chiefs, like Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL right now. Like, make sure he doesn't have as much time as possible in the game. They completely dominated the clock, time of possession. Like, Nate, you'll have to look it up. It's probably, I want to say it ended up being like 25 to 35, in favor
Yeah,
of the
I think it
Eagles.
was 24. I think Mahomes only had the ball for 24 minutes.
35 to 24.
Yeah, that's the way you want to do it, and they still somehow lost the game. I mean, the defense just completely blew that game for them. Like,
Giving up 31 points does not help.
Nope. I mean,
Also, the fumble return for a touchdown doesn't help. Like, that was the only turnover on the game, so clearly, like, that played a big part. Like, if that didn't happen, the Eagles are sitting world champions right now. So
yeah, I mean, yeah,
Maybe.
take away
You don't
7
know.
points. Take away
Yeah,
7
but
points.
you know how plays happen throughout the game.
Well, but if you think about that, right before that fumble, they had a false start actually happen because they were on a 3rd and 1, I think it was. Yeah, it was a 3rd and less than 1.
That's true.
And they were going for a QB sneak, and somebody false started, which kind of, honestly, if I remember the play, it didn't really look like a false start. It looked like they're still getting set up in their positions, but
Somebody was just bouncing up and down.
yeah, regardless, they called it. So setting back to 3rd and 6, and then the very next play, he goes to run and tries to swap hands, and sure enough, it just fell right out. So
Yeah, it's one of those things that it was like such a clean game for both sides. Like, obviously, the one turnover was the only thing bad for both teams. And
no
you just
sacks,
did not
other
see
than the
that.
one.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it was so clean. The game was well played by both offense. Honestly, it was probably the best game I've ever seen. Top 5 for sure. It could have been number 1 if it wasn't for the damn referees trying to decide the game at the end. With 90, they literally just had 90 seconds to swallow their whistle.
Yeah,
and
we'll
decided
get into that later. We'll get into that later. Don't worry.
Yeah,
But like,
I'm so riled up about it.
I know,
Can't wait.
I wanna talk about more stats and the fact that, like, if it wasn't for Jalen Hurts running out of bounds a yard shy of the line of scrimmage, there wouldn't have been any sacks in this game. Which, like, for two highly touted like defensive lines, like, you would think that there would have been more sacks in this game, but really, each offense did its job.
Especially from the Eagles, like they had the most sacks in the NFL this year.
Both of them were top 2.
Yeah, in history, right?
No,
yeah, I think they were 3rd in the history for sacks.
I mean, regardless, that's a lot. And the fact that they weren't able to get any pressure whatsoever, like, did they even get any pressure? I didn't see that graphics.
They pressured him a few times, but I don't think there was enough because, like, he had a clear pocket from.
Right. Well, okay, they definitely did one for sure because they tweaked his angle. Yeah.
Well, but that was after the line of scrimmage. He got past the line of scrimmage.
Well, no, he threw it, didn't? Oh, no, you were trying to. Yep. Trying to get out of the pocket, make a play out of it, and wasn't working out. Yeah. I mean, which is the overall good game by both Dolphins.
Could you kind of make a point to where the defense didn't really play an impact, like the defensive lines didn't have an impact because of their footing and the grass
field
was condition?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what
They
kind of
weren't. Yeah.
science project were they doing? Especially, what better time to do it than the Super Bowl, right?
Well, yeah, especially when it's a new cut of grass that they were experimenting on this entire year.
Why? Like, why?
Still don't know what the official grass is called. All I know is that it was supposed to be meant for golf courses, and they decided to try out. They decided to modify it and make it to where it would be good for football games, but it showed that it wasn't. It had no structure to it. It was easy to just plant your foot and have it slide out from underneath you.
And that's exactly why the NFL wanted that to be like that. NFL tried to make the grass absolutely trash so that they can't get sued.
Nate, what are you telling me here?
I'm telling you that I have a hot take. Put on your tinfoil hats. It's getting real.
I've got to get one.
Yeah, we got to get here one soon. But I think the NFL purposely made the grass field terrible so that they could show around the league that grass fields are not better than turf, and so that they won't get sued.
I'm pretty sure Soldier Field could have played better than that grass field.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, the Soldier Field this year was not that bad. It was good, like years in the past. It was like always torn up. Like you legit would see like chunks of the field
they
removed.
They would have to resod the middle of the field like halfway through
like
the season.
every other game.
Yeah.
It was so bad. And then this year wasn't too bad. I think they used Bermuda, which is also used
they
for.
Still did Kentucky.
No, they used Bermuda. Eberflus wanted to bring that in, which is also used for golf. Ironically, we were just talking about how the Cardinals try to install a grass type that used for golf courses, but
the NFL.
Yeah, it's why would you try something new that for the? So you're saying, Nate, that the NFL provided this field for the Cardinals, or did the Cardinals decided?
I say the NFL forced them to make this type of field. And you know what? It ended up hurting the Cardinals because Kyler Murray tore his ACL. Yeah. So
that is true, because the Cardinals did have to play on this field the entire year. Not only did that happen, first game of the year, Harrison Butker did tweak his ankle and was out for like a month and a half on the very first kickoff of the year, because I'm pretty sure they were the first game.
Yeah, it's unreal. Why would you test it out during the season? Like, why would you not test it out before the season even started, just to make sure?
No, it's because
because the season was their testing field.
Yes, because they wanted the biggest stage to show why grass fields are bad.
Yeah.
So they put, so they don't get sued, to send that message out there to say, hey, turf fields are good, man. You don't see any of the slipping on turf fields.
But you can see a lot more ACL torn on turf field because there's.
That's not what the NFL says.
Well, obviously,
so
they're not
many
going to say
more
that.
non-contact injuries on turf field.
Right.
Yeah.
Because didn't you? Isn't like turf field where there's no give underneath, so
very
basically
little give.
when you're implanted into the ground and you try to twist and turn, the ground doesn't move with your turn or twist and turn, like it just stays there. So your knees basically.
It's essentially that if your spikes catch too much of the turf, like in the turf, then the turf is not going to move.
Yeah.
Which is why players were going to thicker and longer cleats during this game because they needed to get more traction in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you would.
I will say,
I would say that we saw like maybe like 100 pairs of cleats on the sideline. It was
Yeah.
unreal.
Everyone had a backup.
Eagles were done.
Yeah, it was so many. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I will also say that playing on turf field myself, your knees do hurt. Like when you play on it a lot.
I mean, well, coming from like a baseball standard, like I like turf fields, especially up north, because it allows teams to play more often. But like when you play on it consistently, your feet and like knees and joints, like they hurt. Especially when you're wearing metal spikes on it too. Metal spikes are they give you traction, but like it really like my ankles and like feet would hurt after.
I guess if you get caught, like there's obviously there's no give. It just gets stuck in the ground. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I've
You
heard
definitely feel the difference
which
from
is
turf to grass.
I've heard a lot of horror stories of like metal spikes on baseball fields, like them twisting and then their legs don't twist with it.
Yeah, on turf fields, right? Though.
Yeah, on turf.
Yeah. Is that why you see a lot of like molded cleats just to prevent the?
Well, also like they try to use molded cleats because they want to save the
preserve it a little bit. Yeah.
But regardless, back to football.
Yeah.
Got away on baseball a little bit, but back to football. You know that the field conditions were not the only thing that were kind of holding the game back to its full potential. There were very crucial calls that happened late in the game. One in particular, and that was I can't remember the time slot, but it was underneath 2-minute warning.
Did you guys see the jersey swap between Mahomes and the head official after the game?
I saw it all on Twitter.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
I loved
it. Yeah, it was absolutely phenomenal. Best jersey swap of all time.
I know. It's probably the best. Yeah, like you said, Nate, best of all time. Like
I'd want that signed and put up on my wall immediately.
Oh yeah, do it right away.
But so yeah, you had a very crucial holding call on James Bradbury, while he was defending a route against Juju Smith-Schuster, and I personally don't think you should be calling that late in the game. Like you gotta let him play. Steve actually brought up a very good point. Actually, however, last year's Super Bowl, there was a very similar crucial call that was played in a very similar time slot against a very well-talented wide receiver and a linebacker.
It seemed like, I saw it earlier today. It was like, what was the scenario? The Rams versus the Bengals. If for those who forgot who last year matchup were, it was it was under 2 minutes for sure. I think the ball or the clock went down to 1:45 left in the game. The Rams were at the Bengals 11-yard line, down by 4. They obviously needed to score a touchdown to be able to take the lead and stay within the game, because obviously field goal is not going to tie it. So Cooper Rush makes a cut towards the middle. The linebacker somehow got matched up with them, and obviously we all know how that matchup usually end up. The linebackers can't just keep up with them most of the time. They're usually much slower. So he kind of like puts his hand on him to guide himself to where he can go. It's more of like a if he moved, I go, like type of thing. He was not even like trying to hold him, which is how the ref that's how it appeared for the refs. And that was like one of those scenarios where it's under 2 minutes, let the players play. Like if it's a egregious call or like penalty call that you need to make, obviously make it. In those type of scenarios, it was such a it's one of those calls where it could go either way, and nobody would bat an eye, like type of thing. But obviously it was called, and everybody, what all they can think of is like, oh, yep, here we go again. The Rams, they're going to take the lead, win the game, and the Bengals are not going to have a chance, type of thing. But that actually turned out to be okay for them. They were actually able to get the ball back with some time on the clock and be able to score. Versus this year, if we fast forward to this year, that didn't happen for the Eagles. They got screwed over. I want to say this year call was actually not as bad as last year, or no, last year was worse. Like you can tell he was tugging him a little bit. This year was not even that definitive. I want to say, like if you were watching it and at the game speed, like you couldn't tell that jersey was being tugged or at all. Obviously, once the play happened and everybody was watching the replay frame by frame, you can obviously see where the holding was. But the heat of a moment, you're not calling that. Like you should not call that. And where did that flag come from? Did it come from like the
It was a side
Side
judge.
rep. Yeah,
side judge? Okay. So he was there. He was watching
Well,
that.
sorry, not side judge. I think it was a down judge.
Was it?
Yeah, it was a down judge because it was at the line of scrimmage and it was thrown
Oh,
behind
yeah.
him.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
Nathan, remind us again how the rules work. Where if you're at the line of scrimmage, like what happens? Like how
So
much?
at the line of scrimmage, you can make contact with the player, which is you can put your hands on them, but you can't hold or grab them. Basically, you can't impede like their progress towards like you can't hold them from making their route, but like you can try and stop them and like shove them off their route.
See, I don't like I understand it, but I always thought that like anything behind the line of scrimmage, like as long as you're not tackling him, really kind of like went like it just played out. But like even watching the video and the tapes, like you could see he had his hand on his back. You could see that maybe there was a case for like a tug, but like it didn't halt Juju's progress from running his route. He still ran the same route. It didn't really throw him off course. And even with the route, Mahomes threw the ball 10 yards past him still. Like he wasn't even close to making the catch. So it's like, how can you throw a flag that really didn't even it had no impact on the end of the play other than, oh, now they got a fresh set of downs and they can run out the clock and kick a field goal.
Yeah, it really was the game at that point. I mean, that was like the biggest play of the night was that play. 3rd and 8.
Yeah.
And if the Chiefs don't get this play, the Eagles get the ball back with 1:50 left, and who knows what can happen with 1:50 left.
And I mean, that's what the All America wanted to see. They wanted to see a
Overtime Super
good
Bowl,
product
maybe?
on the
They
field.
wanted the Mahomes narrative.
But Mahomes'
You can
narrative.
still like that's the thing about the NFL. Like you can still see plenty more years of Mahomes greatness. Like this is not going to define his career.
Yeah, but
Like
you
I don't
won't catch up
understand
to
it.
you
I
gotta
actually
catch up to Brady though. You know, he's
Yeah,
got
no, but
7
no,
of them.
Nate, I think you may have saw this stat line, but and I saw this stat line. It was I actually found it really crazy. I saw it on Twitter or Instagram, one or the other, and it was so we've had Mahomes for 5 years, well 6, but 5 starting years. Out of his 5 starting years, he's made the playoffs 5 times, 5 straight championships,
Conference championship games.
5 straight division titles, 2 MVPs, 2 championships.
2 first team all pros.
Yeah, 2 first team all pros, 2 championships, 2 MVPs, 2 Super Bowl MVPs. So
Hall
like
of Fame career.
that already the 5 years
Yeah.
he's had as a starter is a Hall of Fame career. And that's 5 years. If you compare that to Tom Brady, that means he would have 15 more years.
Yep.
Exactly.
Like he's going to have probably the best career ever if he continues those numbers.
Oh yeah.
Well,
and there's
Tom Brady
not.
started off hot too. He had 3 Super Bowls in 5 years.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but like you,
Well, didn't you guys see the stat where you could put like Brady into 3 different, like you can put him in the Hall of Fame 3 different,
yeah, he had
like
3
he could have
separate
3
Hall of Fame
different,
careers.
yep, exactly, which is wild.
Yeah.
I mean, like Mahomes is not gonna be this game was not gonna like
Yeah.
prevent him from making it to Hall of Fame if that's what they were worried about. Like
Mm-hmm.
he basically has a Hall of Fame career, like you guys said. It's just I don't understand why couldn't you just let the defense show the whole world that if they were to win the game, they were gonna stop the Eagle, and therefore they're the better team to win. Like, why do you have to step in and make a call that you haven't been making all game? Like, if you were to go back and review all 65 passes during the game, you're telling me that
Yeah.
that
There's
holding
way more
call was the only
flags.
time you would throw the flag? There's
There would
no
be way
way.
more.
Yeah, you can't tell me that that was the worst holding like scenario, whatever you want to call it, uh, that ended up getting a flag. Like there got to be another play in the game that had a worse uh, tug or worse bump. Um, I don't think we saw any pass interference all game, did we?
No.
No.
Not a
No,
single
it
So
was
one.
a
that's
really
interesting.
clean game. There was
Yeah.
only 9 penalties on
Yeah,
the
6
game,
to 3
6 to
Eagles.
3.
Yep.
In terms of Eagles,
Yep.
but like clean game overall. I just don't understand why it seems like every big game just has to come down to a crucial call, which is like, Roger Goodell's gonna have to come up with a solution to these refs. Like it's gonna cause a problem in the future. Like a lot of refs are getting criticized, and I guess it's also not only the NFL, the NBA is happening. That's a big thing in the NBA as well right now. Like just refs in general, they're being criticized because they're controlling the game at certain points, and then it kind of falls back on to the commissioners of the respective sport because like people like to speculate. Are they doing this for a reason? Are they scripting it out because they want it to play this way? Like, why can't it just feel like we're watching greatness unfold itself?
Yeah,
Let
naturally.
it tell its own story and not have it be written before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. They
Like-
just have their narratives,
So like, yeah. So if you were to kind of have a rematch for this game, and how would you think this would kind of fall into play? Maybe we lost Steven, but Nate, if we were to have a rematch, how do you think this would fall into play? We'll probably get him back here soon.
So if this was like a best out of 3 series, or say a best out of 7 like the NBA or MLB, I think the Eagles would take it because I think they played a high level game and their mistakes were kind of like, once in like a few games types of plays, like that fumble by Jalen Hurts. How often does that really happen?
Now
to
that was
Hurts?
the biggest thing that kind of really happened that propelled the Chiefs to actually winning. If you take that away, the Chiefs don't win.
And the punt return to the 5. I mean, that's just like also another random play that doesn't usually happen. So the Chiefs I feel like the Eagles played a much better, well-rounded game, but it was just having to be a couple plays that really like separated it for them.
Yeah, Steve, I don't know why we
What
have
did I just
video back
do?
now. I don't know what you did.
Glad to have you back, Steve.
Did I just make him come back?
Yeah,
Are we still recording, by the way?
We are, but now
No,
your
I
video
just
is
made
actually
you.
back, so it's kind
I
of funny.
just brought your video back, Nate.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened.
we see you now, so it's pretty crazy, dude. It's like
wow.
It's
That's
like
so
last night,
weird.
dude. Your video didn't start working until the last 10 minutes, so we gotta figure that out.
This is great.
I like signed out and then came back and your video Did I make it happen or what?
I have no
Probably.
idea. This is
But
Anyway, I heard the
Steve,
question.
yeah. Okay, you go.
The rematch. I guess I missed the part. What did you say, Nate? You think the Eagles or
oh yeah.
the Chiefs?
It,
The
it was
Eagles
just a
will win?
couple plays for the Eagles that set it apart for
Yeah,
them.
I agree. Yeah, it was like if they didn't have that fumble, I don't think they would be able to make up that 7 points somewhere for the Chiefs. Um, and obviously, if they have better special team, so I don't know. I mean, the special team will still be bad regardless, even if you have the rematch.
No, I don't
Because
know about that. Special teams has such
that was their only
like
punt of the game, right? Or
weird
second?
yeah, it has such like a weird impact on the game
Yeah.
because there's so many little chances and so the sample size isn't really high.
I think
Yeah.
there's 3 punts on the game, 2 by the Eagles and 1 by the Chiefs.
Yeah. Which is again another
I
reason
think
why.
there's 2
No,
and 2.
is
It was 2 and 2.
Regardless, that's another reason why this game was one of the all-time greats. Like
mhm.
there was little action of like poor play. Like it was through and through one of the greatest offensive showcase of all time. If
Mhm.
only the Eagles were given another chance to drive down the field. Who knows? Like
Mhm.
I would have been fine if they weren't able to tie it up or take the lead. Like I would have been fine. You can throw
Mhm.
throw the towel in for that match and call it a good game. Call it one of the best game of all time. But the fact that the refs like had to dictate the game like that, it
Yeah.
just kind of put a damper in the game. Like I don't,
Mhm.
you can't walk away and like have a core memory of the Eagles or the Chief. Yeah, they truly deserve that game. Like they won and fair and square. Like no, the all the people are gonna remember is that, oh, did you see that ref make that bogus call? Like yeah, the Eagles
Yeah,
got screwed.
but it's kind of the Eagles are kind of humbling themselves right now because I've been seeing a lot of their post game interviews and they were going out about the fact that like it wasn't just the one play, like there were other
Yeah,
plays that they could have, you know, done something that could have gone the other way. And I saw James Bradbury admitted that it was a holding, even though it seemed like he was kind of forced to tell that narrative as well.
you don't want to get
Yeah.
fined. He's one of
You don't
the
want to get fined.
least paid player on the team. He doesn't have money to throw out of the window for sure.
Yeah,
So
but
Yeah.
like it's just it's upsetting to see how it kind of went down, but it's it's now time to kind of just like look on to the future. Like the Chiefs are kind of,
flip,
or not the
flip the
Chiefs, the
page.
Eagles are
Close,
preparing to flip the page.
yep, close the
They're
book
looking
on
for
that.
they're looking for next year, trying to limit those mistakes and hopefully see themselves back there in Super Bowl 58 if that's the case. Um, on that topic, kind of, I want you guys to give me a very, 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 very early prediction of Super Bowl 58. Who do you think is going to be in it?
I'm gonna do the Bengals from the AFC, and
You're going against Mahomes.
yeah, I mean I feel like the
Back to
Chiefs is
back is
like
really
one
It's
of
hard.
those other.
Mahomes.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those back and forth type of rivalry where
I hope
one.
it's not, or I hope it is, and I hope it's not just the NFL always putting Mahomes in. So
Well, yeah, you know, I'm saying the Bengals are gonna make it to the Super Bowl, and then from the NFC side, I can't see the Eagles making it again. They're gonna regress a little bit because
they have a
a
lot.
lot of
They're
the
getting
players that are
older.
retire, they can't re-sign everybody because their salary cap is gonna go into the shitter. It's just like they're obviously gonna have to pay Jalen Hurts, and it sounds like they're gonna try to get him the bag this offseason. So not it just doesn't seem like they're gonna be able to. It just seemed like too good of a story. Um, so with that said, the 49ers I can see them going back. Tom Brady.
Mhm.
Tom Brady coming out of retirement.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Brag-
He
it's Bragg
officially
Purdy.
signed. He officially signed, so I don't know.
I like that Super Bowl matchup. In fact, I would say that's probably one of the most likely matchups, and that I very well could see happening. But I would like to be different here a little bit, you know. So I'm gonna go with the Bills because I think Josh Allen will have 1 year where he proves everyone wrong and goes out and has a spectacular year and wins the Super Bowl. Unstoppable. Then he'll regress the rest of his career. But I think next year is his ultimate prime.
Who regress after this next year? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then he'll just be like
He's-
done. I accomplished something.
I could argue that he's already regressing. Like,
Well, yeah, but he's still in his prime. I feel like he's
Yeah.
still in his yeah.
Yeah.
And next year is the prime of his prime, and
Yeah.
it feels like it has to be next season, or when is it?
Nah, dude,
So-
it's gonna be the Chargers
Oh
and the Bears.
no, okay.
Why
You gotta let me
Chargers?
say.
I don't know.
Yeah.
oh wow.
No,
No, you gotta have
Who'd
two
I
of the
say?
worst team in the NFL.
I have to have
Who were they?
I need an NFC team. I can't pick the
The
49ers.
Texans versus the Bears. Well,
Let's
there we go.
go.
That
Let's
would
go.
fit, totally.
Let's go Bills versus the Lions.
Wow.
I'm
Alright.
just kidding. I gotta explain
on.
my pick now.
Hold on.
No, let me explain my pick.
Connection.
I want to explain my pick as of right now.
I don't know what it is. It's when maybe you have to join before Steve joins.
Yes, I have to join before Steve. But I'm working. You can see me?
Yes.
Let's go. All right.
Hold on. Let's Steve.
Here's what I'm gonna do.
I don't get it.
Good.
We can't hear you.
He's not moving his we can shut up.
I don't get it. Why do I have to log out or
I don't
leave
know.
the feed?
I don't know.
Because I need to be second.
Yeah, all right. So Nate,
Whatever.
the
All
Bills
right.
and Lions?
I'm kidding. Lions are trash. They're never winning a playoff game. I am going with the Chicago Bears.
No,
Justin
come on.
Fields wins the MVP. Actually, it's either the Eagles or 49ers because everyone else just sucks, honestly.
Yeah, it's so bad. The conference is so bad.
Yeah. I mean, the Cowboys might have the
No.
talent, but it's
Dude, no,
Dak,
don't even-
so
no.
he sucks.
Don't count the Pride Boys out in there.
It's
His-
Dak Prescott. He
Dak-
sucks.
Dak
So
Prescott's contract start to get really expensive next year, right?
mhm.
That's like his first year. It's really start to really take a hit, and Zeke is still there, and he has a very expensive cap hit next year.
I think they might cut him.
Right,
And
to
they
save money.
and
Yeah.
they might lose Tony Pollard as well. So
I think they're gonna franchise tag him though.
Yeah.
But he tore his ACL, so
mhm.
No, he didn't. He just dislocated his ankle.
oh yeah. So he can be back. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
That got
Bills Eagles.
Bills Eagles. All right,
All right.
whatever. You are Bills Eagles. Steve is Bengals 49ers.
Yep.
I was Chargers Bears, and I'm not joking about that.
No.
Honestly, the Bears might have the third best
Hey.
chance. I really don't know.
If history repeats itself, Jalen Hurts was just paving the way for Justin Fields next year. It will be his third year. Third year
MVP
quarterbacks.
Field.
But the problem is the Eagles had basically everybody on their team.
Yeah, well, the Bears have
Well,
the
you
most
wait.
cap space. They're
You
gonna hit
wait.
so many signs in the offseason.
They're not
draft
gonna
so
be able
many
to sign
people.
anybody. Everybody could have re-signed their players, and they're gonna have like
No,
Nick Dominic and Sue, who nobody wants to touch.
no.
Uh, I don't
I
even
think
know
you're,
who else.
Ryan Poles will do some legendary stuff. All right,
He did.
we
He
will.
already fleeced the Eagles once. So we got um a 4th-round pick
Yeah,
for
what happened to Robert Quinn?
2 tackles, no sacks. I saw that tweet earlier.
Did they cut him?
No, he was
No,
there. He
he
played.
just
He
he played. He
played?
just
Yeah,
didn't
he played. I saw him on
wasn't
the
able to
sideline.
get much. Yeah, just
Huh.
wasn't able to get much production.
I think he was just there for a veteran role, just to be a
Right.
veteran guy.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
to have depth for sure.
But I think that will kind of wrap it up for this week's episode of the Honest Truth Sports Podcast. And that was episode 6. A little bit of Super Bowl recap. We were completely wrong in our predictions, most of all of us. But you can't be right 100% of the time in this sports industry. You have your flaws. You have to, what's the phrase? You can't eat your cake and have it too. Sometimes,
Never heard of that.
you can only bite you can only chew as much as you can bite. So I don't know. I'm just throwing
Where
out
do
all
you hear
phrases.
this? What?
They're
Yeah, I'm not
cringy
having.
phrases,
I
dude. I don't know.
What?
They're
When you get
cliches.
so philosophical, like
I don't know.
Just
come on,
reading
man.
books.
I'm philosophical
Not
because
really.
this is the Honest Truth Sports Podcast where we turn realism into journalism. So,
Yeah.
and we thank you guys for listening to this week's episode. Stay tuned because there is a post-game interview with Nate himself at senior night. So you will want to stay tuned for that. It was a great interview.
Yeah, it was
Wish I
Wait,
could have
wait.
got some
You
more
gotta give
highlights.
everybody some context before the interview. It was actually
Yeah, sorry.
before the game.
We'll give you, Nate, give us some more context about
What did we
The
ask
game?
you before the game?
well, I threw that in
Oh.
there too. I'm gonna throw that in there.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
let's just say there's a part in the game where Nate was about to throw hands, and I would have loved to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably would have got a smell from the school, but
What?
it's okay.
No, I wouldn't. No, you wouldn't have. It's a sporting event.
Yeah, at a
You don't
high
get
school event. It's
you
a
don't
high
get
school.
no. I've seen dudes fight on the basketball court and nothing happens.
Oh yeah.
Like you get tech. I've seen on film multiple times of dudes straight
What
up
if you would
throwing
have
punches.
landed? What if you would have landed a haymaker? Like knock him
That would
out
have been
cold.
sick. That would have been sick. Let's be real
Okay.
here.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. So stay tuned for that. It's pretty quick. You won't want to miss it though. But once again, we appreciate you listening. I am Michael Penarski, my co-hosts Nate and Steve Penarski, and stay tuned for more episodes. You can like and subscribe wherever you find this. It'll be up on YouTube. There'll be an audio link from audio.com as well if you want to listen to that as just a daily podcast thing. And yeah, once again, thank you. I know I've said it a lot, but stay tuned for more episodes. I really appreciate you guys staying along for the ride. Peace out. Love you guys.
All right, we are here, after post-game interview with Nate Penarski here. Nate, I have one very important question to ask you. What in the hell was going on through your mind when that kid approached you?
I wanted to beat his ass for sure, but, big ass Ryan, he's like 6'7", 260. He held me back, but if he wasn't there, I definitely would have got in that kid's face, Maybe got a technical, who knows. But I definitely got in that kid's head throughout the game, so, yeah.
We were definitely hoping you would get a technical. I was upstairs. I was watching the whole thing happen. I saw you got tackled, and I was like, man, you better not get in my boy's face, or else he's gonna be scrappy. He has two older brothers that taught him well. So I really appreciate your aggressiveness out there on the court. Also, another note. You promised us 5 points and you missed a crucial free throw. Was that going through your mind on that free throw?
I would like to say I would have had 5 points if that dude didn't tackle me. Yeah, that's what I like to say. I feel like I played well. I shot 2 for 2 from the field. I did a lot of good things other than scoring. That's kind of what my role is. But I definitely could have been better. I could have made that free throw towards the end, but luckily it didn't matter.
You heard it here, folks. Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the Honest Truth Sports Podcast. I hope you join us next time. All right.